So it's the end of the year and I don't have a regular scheduled video for this week, but I did want to turn the camera on just to chat with you guys one-on-one and just talk about the year in review. It's been a very busy year for me, both on YouTube and in my personal and work life, and there's been so much going on with me, and I just kind of wanted to just take a moment and just kind of breathe and chat with you guys and kind of review the year and how things have gone. Now, the year itself was very busy for me. It was not busy in a bad way. There was definitely some stress along the way, and I wanted to just talk about it. I think the best way to kind of get things off your chest is just to chat. So in the middle of the year, you guys know that I moved house. Some of you guys know probably that I moved house, and that was a pretty busy time for me. Basically, we ended up relocating from one state to another state, and it was a lot bigger than I had anticipated. And I think when you do move, you kind of make stories in your head about how the move is going to go before you do it. And the reality is it never really turns out that way when you execute on it. It was very busy and very, very stressful. Another thing that was going on as I was moving house was I was also in the process of shipping a game that was released by Night Dive Studios known as Blade Runner Enhanced Edition. So as the move was going on, I was also still developing that game and trying to get the game shipped out the door. And as a result of that, it was not the best launch of that game when it came out. It was not reviewed very well. And I do regret that. I think in hindsight, I probably should have told the management that we needed to wait on that release. But at the end of the day, the game came out and it didn't do very well. But the good news is since then, the game has been patched and it's definitely being received a lot more favorably. Now, why am I telling you this? So after all that went down, I finally moved to the new place, which is where I've been making videos from for the last 4 or 5 months. We've just moved to this house and we've lived here for less than 6 months. One of the things I ended up doing was leaving Night Dive Studios. So I left the company in September and I accepted a full-time position at Limited Run Games. Now, you're probably wondering, well, why did you leave Night Dive Studios? That sounds like a great place to work. You seem like you're doing really well there. The reality is this. So I am nearly 50 years old. I turned 50 in April of next year, 2023. And I was overworking. I was doing too much. And one of the things that I have, one of the traits about me is that I was born to work hard. And I don't know if it's, what my parents instilled into me from a young age, or just being Australian, where you kind of come from a place where you do hard work or you're a bum and you don't do anything. But ultimately, I was shuffling YouTube and I was making weekly content on YouTube, as well as my work at Limited Run Games, where I was focused on games such as River City Girls Zero, and the work that I was doing at Night Dive Studios, which included Power Slave, included Shadow Man, included Blade Runner Enhanced Edition, and other things that they were working on at the time. So long story short, when Embracer acquired Limited Run Games, I was approached by Limited Run and said, look, this may be a good opportunity for you to jump on full time. There's a lot of work here. There's a lot of opportunity here to really build what you're doing with the Carbon engine. Now, for those people that don't know, the Carbon engine is the engine that I developed for Limited Run that powers games such as Shantae, as well as River City Girls Zero. And there are other games that are coming out next year, but that will all get announced in due course. So when I was kind of informed about the Embracer acquisition, I was kind of in the situation where I was working about 70 to 80 hour weeks. And that's no exaggeration. So between the work that I was doing at Night Dive, as well as Limited Run Games commitment, as well as wanting to continue to make YouTube videos, because YouTube's always been, it's never been about doing it full time for me. It's always been the side hustle or the side thing to really kind of be an escape from YouTube more than anything else. And I did this because I love making content. I love telling stories about the hacking scene, the modding scene, as well as revisiting old video games or deep diving or reverse engineering type stories. You guys know what I do here on the channel, and that's why you watch me. So I definitely didn't want to give that up, but ultimately something had to give here because, again, I mentioned that I'm not a 20-something or a 30-something. I'm almost 50, and sometimes the body tells you, especially when you get to my age, that you need to slow down. You need to stop, because I think working 60, 70-hour weeks is not something that is sustainable at my age. I mean, it's one of those things where I could do it for another 5 years and literally I'd probably just drop dead and have a heart attack or heart failure or something like that. So I certainly don't want to get myself in that situation, not only just for myself, but for my family, of course. So when the Embracer acquisition happened, I decided, well, I think I want to jump on full time. This is a good opportunity to do so. There's some really good things that are coming up here. But as a result of coming on full time, something had to give. I couldn't just continue to stick to the trajectory that I was on, and really I had to make some decisions. And this is something that I've been thinking about doing for the last year anyway. So I ended up leaving Night Dive Studios. And again, it was not anything that was a result of any particular thing that happened last year. It was really just me saying, look, I need to step away from something. I've kind of got myself in this situation. Now I need to basically give something up. And I've been a lot happier since then. There's been just pretty much a standard 40-hour work week and time for me to do YouTube content again. So I think I made the right choice in that regard. And I know, it's something that I feel a little sad about, because I have a lot of good friends. I consider Night Dive Studios family, but ultimately it was my choice. It's all completely amicable. I'm still very good friends with the folks there, and they do some amazing work. And look, I think the future of Night Dive Studios is in amazing hands. I was definitely a part of that for a while, but I had to step away, and I think I made the right choice. So going into 2023, what is the goal for my channel? Well, as I said last year and the year before and the year before that, nothing's really going to change. I'm going to continue making interesting and unique content for you guys to watch, and hopefully it resonates with you and you enjoy it. We've had a pretty good year on the channel this year. There's definitely been some slowdown as far as growth, but it's not something that is, just relevant to just my channel only. In general, the entire retro community, or the kind of the space that I cover, has seen a decline in numbers. If I look at what everyone else is doing, most people's numbers have dropped as well. And I think that ultimately has to do with a couple of things. One is, it seems like YouTube isn't pushing this stuff as much as they used to. But I think more importantly, there is a bit of oversaturation when it comes to this type of content. And that's not to say that people that are content creators shouldn't make their own content, because they may not get the numbers that they're looking for. But I think there is a bit of oversaturation, especially when we come towards the end of the year. There's only so many times that you can talk about the Nintendo Switch Pro or next generation Switch before people just don't care anymore, because they've heard this so many times. And I definitely acknowledge that. So for me, going into 2023, it's going to be more of the same for me, and that is I'm going to try to look for and talk about interesting and unique topics in video games, whether that is old retro stuff, whether that is modding, whether that's security, mistakes were made, or whether it's modern day stuff with new games and new hardware. That's not really going to change, but I am very much aware of topics that have been pretty much been dragged out for the last couple of years. And I certainly don't want to kind of do that, especially to my audience. But 2023, I'm really looking forward to kind of just settling back down, because again, 2022 for me was kind of all over the place. There was a lot going on with me, and I never really felt like I was able to get a sustained amount of videos that were doing well. I did a couple of videos, they did well, and then I had to take a break because of the house move stuff. Or there was also a period of time where I had traveled to Australia to visit my parents, and I was gone for about 4 weeks as well. So, you know, there's just been so many kind of gaps with content this year. So next year for me, I am focused on just kind of just getting back into the groove, you know, doing a Monday video every single week and coming up with interesting and unique topics for you guys to basically consume and enjoy. So the last word, of course, is going to be about you guys. Thank you so much for your continued support on the channel. It's been humbling, it's been overwhelming. I'm very privileged to be in this situation, in this position, and I don't forget about those things. You know, I know that people don't have to watch me if they don't want to. They can certainly just switch off and do something else. And the fact that people continue to tune in, week out, is just very, very humbling to me. And you know, I don't take those things for granted. So for you guys, anyone that's ever watched a video, anyone that's ever commented, left a thumbs up, left a thumbs down, interacted with the channel in any capacity, my hat's off to you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And moving into 2023, I'm excited. I'm re-energized, I'm refreshed, I'm ready to go. I've got some really great ideas about videos for next year, and I want to, you know, pursue those and see where things go. But for now, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful new year. We'll see you in 2023. We'll be back. We're taking a little bit of a break, but we'll be back early in the new year with some new content. But for now, take it easy, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye for now.